Welcome to Dirksón Photography and welcome to a camera review. I don't have a normal camera right now with me. I have a smartphone here, and the smartphone is the camera of the future, kind of. It's the camera that we always have with us. And so as a photographer, of course, I also take pictures with the smartphone. I actually take very little images with the smartphone, but I think many do. And so let me give you my experience of the last 6 months with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. So it's a big one with the pen, and I'm not going to give you this is not going to be a smartphone review. I don't go into the technical side of the smartphone about battery life and all the other stuff that you usually see in the smartphone review. I'm going to only focus myself on the camera, on the photography side, most of it, and just a little bit on the video. So this is going to be a photographer's view of the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. So let's take a look at it. When we go into the photography app, just on the phone, we have 3 different modes, and I'm going to start with the last one that I'm going to show you. So we have the photo mode. There we can take pictures with the normal wide angle lens, with the ultra wide, or with the telephoto lens, and we can also put some effects on it. Then we have the live focus mode, where we can get the blurry background. So with the iPhone it's the portrait mode, and we got the Pro mode. Let's start with the Pro mode. In the Pro, what I can do is I can set the settings all manually. I can set the ISO, I can set the shutter speed, I can set the aperture and the white balance, how the colors will look like, either very cold blue or orange warm. And this is the mode that's most interesting to me because I can shoot raw here. So I'm going to show you some images now that the images I show you now were all shot in RAW in the Pro mode. The images from the other modes we will get to in a moment. But first let me show you what you can get in the Pro mode. Now what I like about it is I have full manual control over the camera. And sometimes I like warm images, warm colors. And sometimes the phone, if I use it normally, it is too neutral to me and too blue. I like it warm. I want it orange, a little bit yellow, maybe too warm for some, but I like it warm, and I can get that by selecting the white balance in a way that I like it. Another thing is sometimes the camera focuses on something and I want the image to be warmer or brighter or darker, and with the Pro mode I can exactly set the ISO, the aperture and the shutter speed how I want it. When we take a look at the settings that we can use for the photographers under you who are interested in the technical side, interestingly we have an ISO from 50 to 800. So ISO 800 is the maximum ISO setting, which is really low in terms of cameras. When I think about a camera that can only go to ISO 800, that's a camera from 12, 13, 14 years ago. Cameras today, they can go to not only 800 but often 8,000. Cameras can go to 80,000. There are cameras that can go to 800,000 ISO, not just 800. So it's a really, really low technical number here, the ISO 800, just for people who are interested in the technical aspects. Aperture, we have 2 options, f2.4 and 1.5, which is also rare to only have 2 options. And we have a shutter speed from 1/24,000th to 10 seconds. That's the technical side. White balance, we can create the color, warm or cold, and all the images I show you here now were created in the Pro mode. So I use it as a professional photographer who loves to edit his images. I like to shoot raw. I don't have to shoot raw, but I like to do it. And this phone gives me the option to do it and to set everything manually. The negative side of the Pro mode, all 3 modes I'm going to show you all have pro and cons. And the pro is I can select everything myself. I get the raw, so I can edit the images in a much broader way than just with the JPEG files. But the negative side is I don't have the ultra wide angle and I don't have the telephoto lens. I cannot use any effects on it, so there is no look that I can apply, which makes sense because the raw images are always unedited. And I don't have the blurry background. So this is the Pro mode makes this phone into any other smartphone, even older ones, where you only have a standard wide angle camera. with no blurry backgrounds, no ultra wide, no telephoto lens. So these were all the images taken with the Pro mode, and I think the images look really nice. I'm really happy with what I got here. Thinking about how small the lenses are, it's just this. This is everything I need for taking the picture. And when I compare it to the bigger cameras that I have, it's nice when you only have this around and you don't need an extra bag to take pictures. You just have it with you anyway. So now let me put the camera on the tripod and show you the other two modes, live focus and photo. So now I'm in the normal photo mode. I'm in the app. And I'm going to take some images just of me. I have the pen in my hand from the phone. I have a ring light, I don't have it on, so I will be pretty dark. So I can just show you the normal image that the camera takes. So this is the normal image, as we know any other photography app on any smartphone can do. Now we get an ultra wide angle lens. So you see much more of the room. And when we take a look, it is a huge difference when you look at the image like this or like this. And there's also a telephoto option. So I think this will be way too close, but you get an idea. You get an idea of how versatile this phone actually is. I took all these images now with the pen that comes with the phone. So I just click on the button of the pen and the camera takes a picture. So we have in the normal photo mode, we have three options: telephoto lens, standard, super wide angle. And we can use a lot of looks, a lot of presets. Let me just choose a black and white look so you see a difference. Let's just use this one and let's take just one or two more images. So it is a really nice way to take pictures with the pen of yourself when you have a tripod. And this is just how it looks like. We have a lot of apps that we can, we have a lot of filters and looks that we can choose. And we can use another color one. Let's just choose another one. The warm maybe, just like this. And I just get myself here. Maybe the ultra wide again, so you see, you get an idea of the different lenses, just like this. You see much more of the room, and I have to, let me put on here the warm. And this is how it looks like now with the normal photo mode. Now we also have live focus, and live focus, what this will do is it will reduce the background blur. And there are two options: the normal, which is the telephoto look. So I will be pretty close now if I am actually in the image. So I'm pretty close, but we got a really nice blurry background, got a nice portrait here. I can make it a little bit brighter like this. And I can not only get a portrait like this, I can also get a wide angle kind of portrait with blurry background. Let me see if I got the blurry background to the fullest. Yes. Let me see it like this. I push the button here on the... And this is how you can easily take some pictures here. And you see how blurry the background gets and the face is in focus. So there are different ways to take pictures. Now, let me just get myself back into the image. And let me talk a little bit about these two other modes of photography and what the great things about it are and what the things are that are not so great. So now you've seen how the photography modes look like and how they work. There are three modes. I started with the Pro mode, and all the images that I showed you in the beginning were edited images, edited in Lightroom in a couple of seconds per image, but all were created in the Pro mode to show you just one section of images that I edited in my own style. The other images that I'm going to show you now, they are all unedited, straight from the camera. I haven't edited them. They are just as the camera records them. And I think it's also important to show you what you can do with the images if you're a photographer and you use Lightroom or Capture One or any other editing tool, you see what you can get out of the raw files. And now let's take a look, if you don't edit images, what can you get from the camera without editing it? All images I created just with the app that was with the phone, so the normal photography app, nothing special, just an ordinary app that's on the front page of your phone. And let me just tell you a little bit more about the pros and cons of the two modes that we just saw. So in the normal photo mode, we have the ultra wide angle, the normal wide angle lens and the telephoto lens. We have the option to put looks onto the images. So the image can be in black and white or in warm color or in cold color, with a lot of color very vividly, or with only a little bit color, looking nearly like black and white, but not totally. And that we can do in the normal photo mode. But with the super wide, the wide angle and the telephoto lens, we don't get that blurry background. It's not that blurry background that gives us the impression, oh, it's a professional camera, kind of. We get that in the live focus mode. There we get the blurry background, and we get it in two ways, in the wide angle lens and in the telephoto lens. But we cannot change the look of the image. We cannot get a black and white. We cannot get a warm image or cold image or a vivid image or nearly black and white image. We only get one look, and if you want to get a different look, we have to take the image and open it again in another app, which is really time consuming if you do it on a regular basis. And I wish they had implemented the way to get other colors and looks also to the images with blurry background. Let me show you some images now. So all images you saw in the beginning were shot in the raw mode. The images that I'm going to show you now here in the video, are all taken in the, if there is a blurry background, then it's taken with the live focus. If it's not a blurry background, then it's just the normal photo editing thing, and all done within this app. There is no extra editing done to it. So you see, I want you to see the images. It's one thing to talk about what the camera can do, but to me it's important that you see the images, because I think you get much more from seeing the images than me talking about it. You can see, can I edit the raw files? How good are they when I edit them? How wide is the ultra wide angle lens? Taking a scenery, a landscape shot or a people shot. How is the portrait mode, the live focus mode? Can I get nice portraits with blurry background? Is the blurry background really nice? How is the cutoff here? Do I see little hairs blurred out, or is there a fine line between the portrait and the blurry background? Because in the beginning, some years ago, when you zoom in, you could see that part of the face sometimes was blurred out because the camera thought that's part of the background. And so the line was not so clear between face and background. And it's much better today. It's not perfect, but it's much better. And with the images I show you, you can actually see how is the wide angle, how is the telephoto, how is the blurry background, how is the raw capability. And with the photo shoot we just did here, you can see, okay, I can have a remote control always with me with the pen. I can always take a selfie with the pen. I can also say click. You can put in a word, and when you say click, the photography app takes a picture, it hears you. Now let's take a look at one other thing, video. So we have also two video options in the normal video mode, like a kind of telephoto look where you're pretty close, or a wide angle where you see much more. Make this a little bit darker. Bum, 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 bum. Sorry for the... So we get a wide angle and a normal mode to get video. And we also got a live focus video, which is really, really nice. Let me just make a video now so you can see what I mean. So I click on record, and now the video is filming. Let me see if the camera focuses on it. So now the smartphone is recording, and I put on the live focus so that we get a blurry background in video mode. And it's not just a telephoto look. So I actually hold the phone pretty close to my face, and yet I can still see that my face is in the image. And I maybe put the video in the video so you see actually how good the blurry background looks like. And I have a iPhone X for comparison, and I have to say that the video quality of the Note 10 is much better than the iPhone X. My girlfriend has the iPhone X still, and whenever we film our son walking around, I always see the big quality and difference between the iPhone X and the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. So if I'm not into video that much, but I think it's part of the camera, so I also want to show you a little bit about that. There are also some variety in how the video camera works. You get the blurry background, but you can also change how the background blur looks like. Is it very strong blurry background or just a little bit? You can change it, and you can also change how it looks in terms of how blurry, not how blurry it is, but you can change the look of the background. And you have some other additional tools here that you can use that are really nice to play around with. So I hope I could give you some entertainment. I'm always about photography, always about the image. I'm not just about talking and leaving it at that. I always want to show you true images that I took out of real life, most of them in Spain. This is where my girlfriend comes from. We always go there with our son. We want him to be half German but also half Spanish, so we try to maybe 6, 7, 8 months Germany and 3 months Spain, something like this, so he also gets some of the Spanish feeling and flavor. And the images I think got really nice, so I thought let's make a video about this phone. Now the rest of the phone, besides photography, how is it? The reason I bought this phone was for taking notes. It was not about photography. It was about kind of having an office with me all the time. And this phone is my office all the time. It is the replacement for a laptop, so to say, for a computer when I'm on the road, on the go. So the main reason to buy this was the pen. The second reason was to have an office with me all the time. And the photography side is maybe the fifth or second reason. And I don't use the phone actually much to take pictures because I'm always having my camera, my big camera with me. And because I have my big camera with me so often, it's not because the big camera is better, it's heavy, it takes place, sometimes it falls down, and I have this with me anyway all the time, so this might be enough. But the reason I have my camera with me is because I'm used to using my big camera all the time, so I stick to my habit. We're all habitual people, and I stick to what works great. And the cameras I have works great. This is also nice, but it's also very big and slippery, and it's glass, and it also fell down 2 times, and both times the glass broke, so it's not really durable. I had it on day number 3. I had it in my pocket, in my pants, but it didn't fit my pocket. It fell down all the time. Then I put it in my jacket, but this is just so big that when you put it into your jacket, sometimes, depending on your jacket or your pocket, this also fell down. When I put the shoes onto my son, the phone fell down and it broke here. And then I was running one time and it fell out of my hand, and it looks really broken now after 6 months and is already done, kind of, when you look at it from the outside. Yet it is a great phone, you can do a lot with it. I don't do much with the phone, I try to be offline as much as I can if I'm not on the computer. So I'm not on the phone when I'm outside. But as it is my office, I chose this one, mostly because of the pen. That was my experience on the photography side of the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I don't know about the new iPhone, that wasn't out when I got this. I think iPhone is always a game changer in terms of smartphone in general, but also about photography. And I think we're at a point where any €1,000 smartphone will also give you great images. Sometimes it also makes sense to buy a generation older phone to save some hundreds euros, because a phone is only interesting when it comes out. The month later it's so uninteresting. This is 6 months old and I feel this is already irrelevant in smartphone 2020 because it's so fast. The smartphones come out so fast, and every older smartphone is so uninteresting that you can get it for much less sometimes, new, but or used, but with guarantee, or just use on eBay for people who want the newest. And I think any smartphone right now can give you great images with the portrait mode. That's, I think, one of the greatest features, to get the blurry background without having the huge lenses with a lot of glass and heavy weight on it. Just with this small lens here, you get 3 lenses, super wide, standard wide, and telephoto lens. You get the blurry background, you get RAW capabilities, you get nice video, even blurred out background in video mode. You have a remote control with you with the pen all the time. You have 12 GB RAM. There's a lot in this phone. And now is the question, how will we use it? Will we make use of it? What do we make of it? That's the question. What do we make of it? And I will leave you with that question. Look at what you have, the technical stuff, the stuff you buy, that you make money with or money from. What do you make of it? Sometimes you have stuff like this, and I may only use 10% of it, 15% of it. And the question is, even that, what do I make of the 10-15%? When the phone I had before this was the HTC One M8. I had it for 6 years. I started my photography business September 2013. When I got that, I bought my Canon 6D, the first one, and I bought that HTC smartphone in September 2013. I used it until mid-2019, and then it didn't charge anymore. It was no longer reliable. Sometimes it charged, sometimes it didn't. But I photographed thousands of people on the streets, and the money I made just because I had that smartphone with me in my hand, I made a lot out of that. Not just financially, but being able to talk to anybody on the streets, showing them some images, and then photographing the people. The question, what do you make of it? That's a great question that I want to leave you with. I don't make much out of this compared to how much I made out of the HTC smartphone that I didn't use for photography at all, and I didn't use for internet. I only used it for street photography, for photographing people on the street, but I did it so often and so intensely that was my 20,000 euro smartphone, kind of, because I used it so often and it gave me so much possibility. I'm a shy guy, I'm an introvert, I'm never the loudest in the room, but with a smartphone with images on it of people, that is a door opener to anybody that I want to talk to. You can meet anybody on this planet if you have the tools to approach them, and it's easy when you have something good in your mind, good for them, not for you. Not, oh, I want to meet that person, but oh, there's a nice couple, they are holding hands. Let me take a picture of that and give them the image just because I love photography. That is a powerful tool. And the question is, what do you make of it? What do you make of the stuff you have? Thank you very much.